Hello, and welcome back to the Tea and a Buddy podcast. I'm Dominic.
And I'm Erica.
And we're doing a news roundup today.
Woo!
Yeah. From around about the last month of news, and just got a few things, the big headlines.
Oh, yeah. And what were the
that
big
are gripping
headlines?
both nations.
Oh, my God.
And the first one, I think, that everybody is talking about in America is the most reviled man in America, Scandoval.
Oh, no! You're going to put this in a news roundup? I need an entire podcast to talk about this.
Well, we've talked about Vanderpump Rules.
We have, but we really can't stop talking about it now, can we?
No, I mean, it's been...
You guys, the last part of the finale, so part
yes,
3 of the finale airs tomorrow night. And then it's over.
Night, yep.
And then it is officially over.
It's all over.
And then we have to start stalking their social medias so that when there's some sort of drama and they release it, we'll know.
I mean, I'm not sure our listeners really care about Scandoval.
No, I think they don't, actually.
I mean, let us know.
But
I think they do.
But
I
is
think
this
they do
their
follow.
podcast or is this our podcast?
You come here for the news, and you come here for our thoughts on the news, don't you?
No, honestly, I am ready for it to be finished, but I'm not ready for it to be finished. Mostly, I'm kind of ready because one of the producers of Vanderpump Rules has revealed that there's going to be some sort of earth-shattering revelation.
Big reveal, yeah.
In part 3 of the reunion. And my God.
Big-time stuff.
That is all that has been on our TikTok feed is people's theories as to what this revelation is going to be, and I am sick and tired to death of everyone's theories.
I think everybody's cycled through what it could be, and everybody's like, oh, I'm sick of waiting for this now. It's going to be a nothing burger. It's going to be nothing. It's going to be a complete nothing that we already didn't know.
Yeah.
And, it's not going to be that big of a revelation. They've just teased us now beyond belief.
Yeah.
They've teased us, and everybody's run with it and going, oh, the theory, the timeline, and oh, I think she could be pregnant, and I mean, if you have no idea what we're talking about,
apologies.
But this is the Tom Scandoval, drama of Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what we can really talk about in this short amount of time that we haven't already kind of said. I mean, basically, we've briefed you all on what Scandoval is.
Yeah,
in a previous podcast.
Yeah, I think we devoted an entire.
We had to.
Well, we didn't do it in 3 parts like the reunion.
I think the reunion could have been 2 parts. The second part.
The second part was good.
I saw some people saying, "Oh, it was better than the first part." I mean, I'm not sure if it was better than the first part.
I think
there were some good moments.
There was I mean, that's every reunion. There was some good moments.
Yeah.
But I think the best moments came from Tom, actually. Tom Schwartz, yes.
Doing his yoga, pulling out his bottle of lorazepam.
Oh, this bottle of lorazepam. He did his yoga. He pulled it out. And what did he say? They were talking about
He said it was Xanax at first.
Oh, no, that was the first reunion, wasn't it?
What?
When he was trying to defend the whole Big Bear trip.
Oh, gosh, I'm not sure, actually.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yes, I think so.
Yeah. But anyway, he was kind of keeping quiet that time. Yeah, I think the second reunion was just kind of like just showing the downfall of Tom Sandoval.
Yeah.
And he was just kind of like, he just needed to
get out of there. They talked a little bit about Randall and Lala, the Randall scandal.
they talked about that, and they were going to feature that during season 10, but everything kind of got caught up in the Scandoval of it all.
Yeah, Sheena was served with some nonsense. It was all just...
I mean, Rachel, as everyone's calling her.
Yeah.
Really, I don't, I think she doesn't... I mean, people want to see her come back to the show and everything like that, but it's like... I think we can be done with her now, truly.
Yeah, I mean...
She's not really the drama.
supposedly,
she's just a participant in it.
I mean, if she is truly
Tom Sandoval and maybe Tom Schwartz is the drama.
If she is truly off somewhere getting mental help,
yes.
which I think is needed for her.
Well, yes.
Not being a doctor or anything, but
it's
just
not good.
Just
and somebody said that says,
observed.
Going on reality television does not help mental health. Even the most people who have got like the best minds for it, it's just like it chips away because it's your real life, and then there's people talking about it on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, jokes aside, like if she was in an actual facility like she claimed to be, if her parents and her
if it turns out she actually was in a facility, then
she has no business.
No, and Bravo should do the right thing and say no.
Yeah.
You're not.
And if she was lying about it, which I mean, how do we know?
I mean, we don't know. Yeah.
Whether she was lying about it.
We don't even know if she was a real person.
Then put her back on the show and let them tear her to shreds. I don't care. It's like,
if she was just have her come in for the Sheena conversation.
Take her or leave her. I don't care.
I
don't care. I think Sandoval needs to come back on the show.
Well, yeah, he's definitely coming back. And I mean, they've said, and Rachel too is welcome back because the big ratings. Season 11 will have big ratings watching them. And it's just kind of like, but...
They were talking about bringing possibly some of the
old cast
members back.
Well, the fired cast members.
Right. And I don't know...
Nah, there's nothing really for them to do.
It doesn't really seem like they want to come back except for Jackson Brittany.
Jackson Brittany, they
and
desperately
they just
want to come back.
Talk, don't they? I mean, who knows whether they've actually been asked back or not, but...
He's a family man, though. Jax Taylor is a family man.
He is. He's got to put food on the table.
He's got to put food on the table. And you know who's preventing him doing that? Randall and the $75,000. Pay him back, Randall. Pay poor Jax back. He's a family man.
Meanwhile, I think Sandoval's maybe wrapped up his touring schedule for the summer.
Oh, yes.
And
he's had big success in his cover band.
Yeah, Ariana's...
selling out shows.
Ariana's living it up with this new guy. It's just like everybody's kind of moved on. So this last part of the reunion is tomorrow.
The revelation in the last 5 minutes, and it's like the last 5 minutes. Like you got to watch until the last 5 minutes. Keep watching. It's like a YouTube video.
Yes.
People like they put the clickbait in the title.
Don't scroll to the end.
It's like we got arrested, or whatever. And it's just like everything's fine. Starting out, and it's like, well, they're not getting arrested right now. It's just like, and they put in a load of ads and it's like, oh, so we got arrested at like the last minute of the video.
Or they go to some sort of like carnival where there's like a fake jail, and that's where they've been arrested.
We got arrested. Yes. Yeah, that's what it'll be. It'll be a fake thing. You weren't arrested.
I mean, really though, this has kind of been nothing. There has been nothing else that Dominic and I have been talking about, as sad as that is. So we could probably...
That's all our marriage is now, is talking about
we could probably...
So really, we have to thank the producers and the cast of Vanderpump Rules for making something for us to talk about every morning over breakfast.
Yes.
And over lunch. And over dinner. And in
our podcasts.
Yes. And I mean, the rest of the cast has Tom Sandoval to thank.
Oh my God.
And who do you have to thank for that?
Yes.
Me, dude.
And we'll be hearing about that next
season,
sure.
Yes, you can definitely, when he tries to come in.
That's what I'm excited for. It's like, okay, Scandoval, whatever.
He'll be sitting there with his cigarette going, like, and his sunglasses on. He's like, dude, I've brought so much money into all of your households.
That is not a lie this time.
That is not a lie this time.
That's not an exaggeration. No, He famously said that to Katie, I think last season, that he
he hasn't brought... And she's about the only one who hasn't been benefiting off this.
Yeah, I don't know. She's done several people's podcasts.
Yeah, but I mean, they're paying her to be on them. Then she's not doing a podcast where she's like, and we're having this
and
on,
she and Ariana have the sandwich shop, and they sold a bunch of merch where people were buying the merch.
Ariana's brought the money in.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Ariana's been the one who's been like, but Sandoval will be saying, me and Raquel, we've brought so much money.
Honestly, I'm ready for them.
They're making us out to be a couple of pathological liars. Yeah, which we know we're not. We're really their employers.
Really, I'm ready for, like, tomorrow to finish, and I'm ready for them to get filming again. You know?
Yeah, they're holding back on something. Because the cast might not want to come back and because of this revelation. But I'm like, is it going to be a nothing revelation?
Yeah.
Or is it going to be, because Lala said, that I know what it is. But I can't, if it was something that big that only the production knew, they probably might not have said, just give the cast something. Like, it's this. But don't give them the full information because if they're going to go, I
mean, everybody's theories that are floating around the
they
internet.
Won't be able to, if
there's
it was
not
something...
one. There's not one that I've heard that
sounds plausible.
Well, no, they're all plausible, but there's not one that I've heard that is going to make the cast turn down
a paycheck.
Yeah,
it's like, one of them, was it Stacy? On her podcast?
Yeah.
No, on her tour?
On her tour, yeah.
She said something about, like, none of them have ever said, this sucks, and I hate that, and I'm not doing this anymore for the paycheck.
Yeah. None of them ever said there's never been anything bad enough that's made any of them say, I'm going to turn down that big effing paycheck.
This isn't worth it for the big paycheck.
Yeah. But anyway, like I said... Dominic and I could keep talking about this, so we better move on.
Move along.
Before this podcast ends up being a Scandoval only podcast.
We'll move on and we'll move across the pond now to a real life scandal. I mean, so this is a real life scandal too, but it's like a
non-reality show?
Yes.
Yeah.
A breakfast.
A non-reality show.
A morning show.
Yeah.
Called This Morning, and Phillip Schofield and Holly Willoughby and everyone on that show.
A morning show, a scandal, not unlike the show.
The morning show. Yeah, I mean, the parallels, people are starting to put that together, and because there was, somebody tweeted out an image of Jennifer Aniston in character in the morning show, and you could see Phil Schofield and...
That's so weird, I don't remember that.
I mean, they must have been... Because, they're a morning show, so they watch other English-speaking morning shows, too.
I suppose so.
Probably to either steal ideas or to,
see what's going on over there,
yeah. I mean, but yes, if I've no idea what I'm talking about, one of the presenters of This Morning, Phillip Schofield, had an affair with a younger colleague who was a runner on the show, which is like he was basically a personal assistant to him. Mm-hmm. And he lied about it. Because it all started...
He was married, wasn't he?
He was married. He was married and he had 2 children. Well, still does. But he's not married anymore. He came out as gay in 2020 quite publicly.
Yeah.
And the timeline of that is people were suspicious about that when he came out because he kind of was like... It was an open secret that he was having this affair.
Yeah.
And, everybody knew, and Holly Willoughby knew, and all this kind of stuff. And, so he had this kind of, like, big coming out on This Morning, and everybody was a bit suspicious. And then other people something happened, and a couple of the other presenters... who, shared presenting duties. Yeah. One of them put in a formal complaint, and we don't know what that something was. They left the show, and they're all, like, reveling in Phillip Schofield's downfall at the moment. Because fast forward to 2023... Well, actually, then Q-Gate happened.
Which was... I was going to say, if you guys are in America and have no idea who we're talking about, you might... remember when we were talking about the death of the Queen, and the big long line that there was of just regular people who wanted to pay their respects. David Beckham stayed in line. He
queued up for like 24
everyone.
Hours or something, whatever it was.
But there was a controversy during the time. about these two British morning show presenters who skipped
Phillip
the
Schofield
queue
and Holly Willoughby.
to go to the front. Yeah, and he was one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. From the BBC, they say a frenzy of media speculation and gossip preceded the revelation, and Schofield has now told the BBC he believes his career is over. Because he did an interview where he was looking all dishevelled, and, they usually do that, when
Yeah.
bad stuff has happened.
Their shirt's partially unbuttoned.
Well, looks like they've just rolled out of bed.
Oh, God, yeah.
That's the kind of like the PR image of like, oh yeah, you've got to look like you're a broken man.
Yeah, yeah.
And tell everyone your career's over, get the sympathy vote,
Yeah.
And he apologised for a grave error of judgment. Because he and co-host Holly Willoughby were widely known as daytime TV's golden couple. Viewers loved their on-screen affection and easygoing chemistry, with clips of them breaking into fits of giggles on air together, which repeatedly went viral.
It was a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
it was a little bit Regis and Kelly-ish.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But like at the Today Show.
Phillip Schofield has been on TV since I was a kid.
Yeah.
So about 35 years.
Mm-hmm.
He was a presenter on Going Live with Gordon the Gopher, this puppet.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a kid's kind of breakfast morning show. Then he kind of like rose through the ranks where he was presenting various things for like ITV.
Yeah.
And then he got the gig on This Morning, which was about 20. He's been on there for like 20 years. And
Yeah.
This Morning's been going for about 35 years. And Richard and Judy were the first people to host it.
Yeah.
And, people in Britain will know who they are. So Phillip Schofield and then Holly Willoughby came up, and Holly Willoughby was like a breakfast kids show presenter very early on in her career too.
Yeah.
And she's been on it for about maybe 15 years now, maybe 10, I think. But yeah, but they put them together and they were like, oh, everyone loves Phil and Holly, on This Morning. They were like the main presenters. Then he came out as gay on the show in 2020, and it was like an emotional, stripped-down interview with Holly Willoughby. It was close to tears.
I vaguely remember like all the comments were just like, didn't we already know?
We already knew he was gay,
Yeah. So that was
I think Joan Collins actually came and said something. It was like, why is he coming out now? It's like,
Joan Collins.
Joan Collins was into, and Piers Morgan dropped hints and all this kind of stuff was like, oh yeah, well, everybody knew already. And then in recent weeks, before the news of his affair broke, reports of him and Holly's friendship had soured. He put this thing in the Sun where he was like saying, oh, Holly, she's my rock, and, people say they're not getting on well, and the recent shows they've been doing, they've been just putting on a front professionally.
Yeah.
Because they were very, very close,
right.
off screen too. They were... that's why the chemistry was there,
Yeah.
Before the most recent tabloid headlines, there was a lot of negative press coverage around the Q-Gate, where the pair were seen by many to have skipped the miles-long queue to view Queen Elizabeth II's coffin.
Oh, yeah.
Which was lying in state. And, yeah, when that came out, he never said sorry. And I think Holly Willoughby had to make a statement.
Oh, yeah.
And basically apologise. So that was probably something that wound her up. If you look at the timeline, everybody was like, oh yeah, he was kind of like very dismissive of it.
Yeah. Maybe it was his idea and she didn't want to.
Maybe.
Maybe she was just like, oh no,
we were filming a film and that's why we did it and da-da-da. And this film has never come to light.
We were filming a film or like a piece?
A piece for it, yeah. We were filming a film piece for the cameras and people were like, well, where was this? We never saw it.
Yeah.
And I don't think it ever kind of came out.
I don't know. That's just so weird.
It was just very weird, and he was kind of doubling down and not saying sorry. For it, because it was just a big drama. So Holly had to come out and say, oh,
I mean, everybody was just making fun of it as far as
Everyone was making fun of it, but,
yeah.
But then that's when the whole allegations of him and the affair started circulating on social media again. And his brother was found guilty of sexually abusing a young boy and went to jail.
Oh, no.
And he took time off from the show during that time, and then some fans declared that they preferred Willoughby's dynamic with the temporary co-host.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, and as reports of the pair's rift continued and rumours of his personal relationships circulated on social media, he stepped down from presenting this morning. Then last Friday, from when we're recording, he quit ITV altogether. Because he was presenting other shows like Dancing on Ice and the NTA Awards, or so, he was presenting some awards that Jane McDonald. Oh, it was the Soap Awards. That's what it was.
I mean, who were the two? I can't remember what. Remember on Good Morning America? I think over here there were like allegations that the two co-anchors were they were both married, but they were having an affair together, and they were suspended. I seem to think maybe they were allowed to come back to the show. I don't know if they were fired.
Yeah.
You have to wonder, like, why a cheating thing can become so big, you know?
Yes, because there's a lot of people going, yeah, that he had an affair with, and you know...
I mean, I say that after we've just spent, however long talking about Scandoval, which is, again, a cheating thing, but...
I think, he came out as gay, and everybody sort of knew that, and were like, oh yeah, his poor wife, if she didn't know, and his kids, and whatever, but, apparently he's got a good relationship with them. The affair and he lied to everyone about it, he should maybe be slapped on the wrist for that.
Yeah.
But I think there's...
But again, that's more his poor wife, than like...
Well, his poor wife, yeah, but it's kind of like, well, he came out as gay, and, so obviously if he knew he was gay, then he was
lying to her the whole time anyway.
He was lying to her the whole time anyway.
Yeah.
And I think people think
or maybe not.
There's much more to this story to come.
Yeah.
There's some talk of like some super injunction that's going to end in July, and that's when everything's going to explode.
Oh
and that's why they've let him go so early on, and he's trying to get ahead of the fallout by putting out, it was unwise, and and Holly Willoughby put out this statement. She came back to this morning. She's desperately trying to save her job.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, because she must have known about it all this time, and because they were so close.
It seems like there must be something more to the story. I don't know.
And that's what and he's kind of come out and said, it's homophobia. You wouldn't get this big a thing if it was a male-female affair.
I mean, Scandoval. That was a huge thing. That was
a huge thing. Yes.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been big news if Phillip Schofield's having an affair with a woman, who's in production. People would be like, it's a bit juicy.
Well, I think the fact that they're a younger
Phillip
person.
Schofield
if she was a younger person, which this person is, because that's always seen as like a sexual harassment type of thing, isn't it? Because the other person is in power, a position of power.
Yeah, that's another thing. The allegations of abuse of power and all this kind of stuff. Yeah,
I mean, I can see where that's a little bit more iffy than just him just having an affair with some guy that's his own age. That's nobody's business, but theirs, and his wife or whatever. But when it's a workplace kind of thing, and you have an age difference, and there's a difference in
and you're like the star of the show, and they're just getting the coffee.
Yeah,
that's a little bit like okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the morning show.
You need to think about this.
Well, if you guys haven't seen the morning show, or
that's about
have any idea
another
what we're talking
real-life
about.
Scandal drama.
Well, it's not about it, but
it's very heavily overtoned by
based on it. Yeah. Oh well, actually, it's based on several of them. There were several around the same time. We're referring to Matt Lauer's.
Matt Lauer, and we have no idea what happened to Matt Lauer, do we?
No, I don't know. Yeah,
he just disappeared off the.
Yeah, I mean,
I think he went to
somewhere.
He went to Mars with Schwartz, which was aired last night. Actually,
the morning show. Yeah, we haven't had a chance to watch it yet. Well, more on that show later, probably. If I'm guessing, because
Stars on Mars.
That's bound to be
William Shatner presenting, I guess, or something.
Yes, the morning show is a show on Apple TV, so. If you want to go check that out. It has Jennifer Aniston and...
Steve Carell.
Well, it did have Steve Carell in it.
Oh! Well, you just ruined that one, didn't you? Let them watch the show first before nothing happens to Steve Carell. Nothing. Okay?
He's just not on it anymore.
I mean, how many seasons has it been?
I don't know.
2?
I don't even know if... Yeah, we don't currently have... Oh, do we? Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, we need to go see if there's a new season.
Yeah. Because we just watched Ted Lasso, which will be next week's
Yeah,
podcast.
we'll talk about Ted Lasso next week. We'll give you guys another week to finish watching it so we don't mention any spoilers. But, yeah, that's
Steve Carell is not on Ted Lasso.
No. All right, what else have you got?
Prince Harry versus the Mirror News Group.
Okay, I have not been keeping up with this at all.
He's taken them to the court and, not royal court.
The court. He's invited them to court.
The High Court is hearing. Well, that's his thing. They've been in court too long, and he wants them out. Will no one rid me of this turbulent media? The High Court in London is hearing a 7-week-long trial into allegations from Prince Harry and others that their phones were hacked by journalists from Mirror Group newspapers. Now everybody's like, wait a minute. The phone hacking scandal was settled ages ago. Oh yeah, this is old news, and why is he going after them now? It's like, well, apparently they haven't admitted everyone's phones that they hacked, and they must have definitely hacked his.
Oh yeah,
because of news stories that he's had over the years that he's like, these possibly couldn't have gotten out any other way.
Yeah,
even the palace didn't know this.
Yeah.
So he's going to give evidence in person, and I think he was due to give evidence, and he didn't turn up.
Oh,
or something.
Really?
He didn't want to be in court or something, and the judge was like, "Are you serious? He's brought this whole thing, and we're all here ready to roll, and he doesn't even show up."
Really?
And the judge is like, "Yeah, this is not a good look."
Yeah.
Right now.
Oh my gosh.
And because he has to fly back from LA and stuff like that, and he's in the UK more than he ever was now.
It's like that's not our problem, though.
Yeah. He'll give evidence in person in June. Like, it's June now, and he hasn't shown up for the court dates because he needs to be there to do it.
Yeah.
And he'll be the first senior member of the royal family in modern times to appear in court and be cross-examined.
Wow.
At the heart of the trial would be 207 newspaper stories published between 1991 and 2011. Some 140 of them, dating from 96 to 2010, were about Prince Harry. And the claimants argue senior executives must have known about unlawful information gathering behind these stories and failed to stop it, which means they've hacked their phones, listened to the voicemails, read their texts, and printed it.
Yeah.
Which is invasion of privacy.
Well,
deep invasion of privacy.
Yes.
It's like, just because you're a public figure, it doesn't mean that you have zero privacy whatsoever.
Yeah.
And that extends to the royal family,
Yeah.
One of the key allegations in the case is that the TV presenter Piers Morgan, editor of the Daily Mirror between 1995 and 2004, knew of illegal activity. He's previously said he's denied that he knew that what was going on.
From the original phone hacking scandal?
Yeah, he denied it.
Oh, really?
But now, the Duke of Sussex,
I guess so, otherwise he'd be in jail, wouldn't he?
Yeah. Want the court to consider a series of incidents which they say are evidence that Mr. Morgan not only knew about hacking, but told others too.
Did any of them get put in jail, actually?
I think a couple of them went down for a year or so, or were fined hefty. He got away scot-free, Morgan.
Yeah.
And he's still around,
Oh, yeah.
So Piers Morgan has repeatedly denied involvement in illegal phone hacking, but this is the first time that a court will have been asked to rule on allegations about what he knew. So yeah.
Yeah.
There's that. It's just, I think him not showing up is a little bit...
Well, it's very disrespectful, first
because
of all.
it's like, it's very disrespectful, because, you're costing so much money.
Yeah.
And he's taking this on, and he wants to, do this kind of oh yes, I'm taking the fight, I'm going to stamp out the media's intrusion, because apparently it's him and a couple of soap stars.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and the ex-wife of Paul Whitehouse, who are like their cases are the ones being assessed.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of funny that it's because, I mean,
it's like a mishmash of like...
Well, I mean, that's what it was before, because, there's been thousands of...
But there were bigger celebrities before.
They were all pretty much celebrities.
Yeah.
The royal family stayed out of it. They were probably... I think there's been allegations, or there's been something confirmed that the Prince of Wales, Prince William, had a payoff from one of the news groups.
Oh, really?
In exchange for any phone hacking. He had a big lump sum.
Oh, yeah.
From it. And nobody ever knew until Harry came out and said, oh, that's part of the evidence, and I've got it here.
Yeah.
And so that embarrassed the royal family. And I think that the king himself brought Harry and said, you've got to drop this nonsense,
Yeah.
It's like, we need them on our side.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't matter if they get to publish like salacious stories about us cheating on each other and whatever like that, but ultimately we need them for PR. Otherwise we've got no one to talk to,
We've got no one to spread the word
about whatever we're doing, and then we become irrelevant, Harry, and then there's no more money and no more fame and no more Bond premieres and no more coronation concerts. Where, we have Lionel Richie doing, that's why I'm easy.
Oh my
like
gosh.
Sunday morning. But it's kind of like he's out of it now, and he's got all this money. He's living in Montecito in California next door to Lisa Vanderpump. And, he's just having his life.
Yeah.
And so, but he's like, oh, yeah, they're trying to intrude on me. And it's like, you should just let it go, mate. It's done.
Yeah.
I mean, if he can get a judgment, I think it's basically he's trying to take down Piers Morgan.
They obviously shouldn't be allowed to do that stuff, right? But it's gonna I don't know if it's gonna work in his favor Well,
he's got Kevin Webster from Coronation Street on his side, so that man can do anything.
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
But yes, I don't know with that kind of thing. He's just gonna have to
rich people problems.
Rich people problems. I wish I had them. Don't we all? It's like well, reading his book, it really was rich people problems, wasn't it?
For the most part, yes. There were definitely some things that regular people could empathize with, but a lot of his complaints were hashtag not relatable.
Not relatable whatsoever.
Yeah.
But yes, moving on to a couple of things before we have to pop off here, because we're a little bit over time. A Blackadder portrait was installed in a stately home recently.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's the 40th anniversary this year of the Blackadder show. It was secretly...
We know that it's... Oh, okay.
There's a little video of it. It's really cute, actually. It's quite funny.
That's cute.
It's a new portrait of Edmund Blackadder in his Elizabethan incarnation from Series 2.
Yeah.
So it's...
that's really funny, except for maybe, years and years and years from now, when people don't remember the show Blackadder anymore, and they go, oh, who is this now? Who was he? Oh, I think he was... third in line to the Duke of,
it's in, it was it was secretly installed overnight at a stately home, and it was placed, and it's stamped by this TV channel Gold in Audley End House in Essex, which was a stop on one of Elizabeth I's, open summer tours or whatever she was doing back in the day,
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, they've got a lot of portraits up there of, figures gone by.
Yeah.
So this guy was commissioned to do this portrait of Rowan Atkinson in characters. Funny. And they hung it up there. And, they
as a practical joke?
It was a practical joke, yeah.
Yeah.
And they hung it up there as if it was one of the things, and, they had people.
But is it going to be left there? Are they going to leave it?
I hope so. And that was Edmund Blackadder, courtier to Elizabeth I. He was a rogue.
I hope they have a little thing that says, just for
No, if they should leave it up, because it's a great painting, and it really looks in the style. But they did have some. Oh, it wasn't hidden cameras. I guess it was hidden cameras. some people were like, and some people recognized who it was, but then there was a couple of like American tourists who were like, oh, I think is that Shakespeare? Oh, I don't know. It's like,
because of the collar.
A selfie, yeah. The visitors were left scratching their heads as they stumbled across the oil painting hanging in the Great Hall of the historic Jacobean mansion.
That's funny.
Mistaking the portrait of Rowan Atkin's character for, amongst others, Shakespeare, Sir Walter Raleigh, or Sir Rather a Wally Raleigh, if you watch the show, and even Henry VIII.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Tony Robinson turned up, who played Baldric in Blackadder.
Oh, yeah.
And, and he was like, he stood there admiring it, and some people go, oh, it's you. Oh, yeah. Some people were just like, oh, it's Tony Robinson. It's just, yeah, he looks good, doesn't he? It's like a...
That's so funny.
It's quite... I'll have to show you the video after this. And he was like, what an honour to have been asked to unveil this incredible painting, and what a cunning plan to have it installed by Gold in such an extraordinary location to celebrate 40 years of Blackadder.
That's so funny. Which home, do we know?
Audley End House in Essex.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just like a stately Jacobean home that I think there was some like lord or something that lived there at some point,
That's so funny.
They're all over the place,
Yeah.
But yes, it was like, you just, what an extraordinary location to celebrate 40 years of Blackadder. Tom Croft, the artist, did an amazing job at capturing Edmund's witty expression, and I know Baldric would be thrilled to see his hero hanging at Audley End House.
Oh my gosh.
And in other news, Joe Biden fell in Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
He was at he stumbled on a sandbag.
Yeah.
While handing out diplomas at a graduation ceremony for the U.S. Air Force Academy.
Jeez. I mean,
people go, oh, his age, he's 80.
His age.
And I mean, yeah, okay, that's advanced years.
Yeah.
And, it's like, you're a bit doddery or whatever. But I would have stumbled on a sandbag if I'd been up there, if I hadn't seen it.
Do you know how many times I have fallen down?
Well, we're going to go back to your St. Paul's Cathedral.
Well, there you go. Yes, no, I was just going to say, just going up and down these stairs in our house on a daily basis, I feel like I'm going to fall on my face.
Yeah.
I either miss a stair when I'm coming up, or I miss a stair when I'm going down. It's like, that has nothing to do with age, does it? Now. Well,
no, I've stumbled on stairs. I've stumbled on, curbs coming off.
You fell down on the front porch, didn't you? And skinned yourself all up one side and down the other one day.
I was being chased by a wasp. That was a high-speed chase.
You have an excuse.
With a wasp. And I fell like that. And I was just, and the neighbor was like, he's quick, grab him, he's almost 40.
I mean, obviously when you're older and you fall, you have to worry,
I mean, we're getting into that about time of life.
We are. Yeah. We're nearly 80 ourselves.
We're nearly 80 ourselves. Just a couple more months.
It's like you fall and you have to worry about, did something break? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, actually, yeah.
But just the act of falling has nothing to do really with age, does it? I mean, it can, but not in this situation.
No, he just kind of turned and he walked and he, just went he face planted.
I mean, it's still not a great look for, the president to be laying face down on a stage in the middle of a...
Well, yeah,
but apparently he got right back up.
He got right back up and he was jogging, and so and of course his PR team were like, "Yeah, he fell, he's fine."
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah,
he's fine. There's no big.
Look over there.
Look over there.
What's that over there?
That's a White House over there. Look at it. Oh.
Oh my gosh! But yeah, so. Anyway, is that the last story?
That's the last
story. That's what we're ending on? The President of the United States fell.
Well, I could have switched these around to have the Blackadder portrait, but,
And to end with the best story, last but not least.
Last but not least.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, yeah, let us know what you think of these stories and...
Let us know anything we missed.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we missed
quite a few news stories, didn't we?
Obviously we missed
But
tons,
we're not news presenters at the end of the day, I'm so sorry to say. You might see us on local news one day. You never know. You never know.
Might they?
They might want to interview us about our podcast.
They might. They might indeed.
And about our crazy, the FBI might want to talk to us about talking about Joe Biden falling in Colorado. It's like, how do you know that he fell in Colorado even though it was all over the news?
Oh my gosh. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Thank you so much as always for tuning in. We really appreciate your support. Shout out to our patrons. As always, thank you guys for your support.
Thanks a lot.
Don't already, give us a follow on social media. We are
guys.
at TButty, TEABUTTY on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And we'll talk to you all next time.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.